Hey there, it's Scott again with Bridge Farms. One of the things that we contest with here on the farm a lot is buckthorn. I have a ton of buckthorn on my property, and it's extremely prolific on our property, and it hurts, and it's hard to cut down a large tree just simply because of when it falls. You gotta drag it, and there are prickers all over this thing. So what I like to do is, instead of cutting them at the base, because if you cut them at the base, if I cut this guy at the base right now, what would happen is that next year 3 or 4 more would come up and almost look like a thorn bush rather than a thorn tree. So what you have to do is you either have to cut it off and squirt some herbicide on the stump, or you can just yank it out of the ground so the stump's no longer there. I do plan on using this field for a pumpkin patch, so I really don't want to leave the little stumps in the ground. So what I use is called a Pullerbear, and it basically pulls the tree right out of the ground very easily. If I wanted to grab a hold of this with my hands and pull out,
has gone to the bank big time.
I'd probably break my back if I tried to do it with all of them out here. So I had to find a good tool to do that. So what I use is a Pullerbear, and I'll show you that in just a moment. So here's my Pullerbear. So basically it's a very long hunk of metal, and it's connected to a vise on the bottom. So you open up the vise, like this, and then there's 2 jaws, and one jaw is smaller diameter or smaller width than the other one, so it goes right into the other one. See, just like that. And what it does is it pinches the tree so it can't go anywhere, and then the leverage from the length of the pole is what actually pulls it out of the ground. For different diameter trees, I can adjust it. 1, 2, 3 ways of doing it. Different diameters of stumps, so I can actually pull out larger diameter trees. So what I do to pull up the buckthorn tree is I take the clamps and I put them around the base of the buckthorn tree. Make sure she grabs on. And I'd like to give it a couple little bounces first, just to loosen up the roots. Wiggle it a little bit. And it pulls it up, just like that. Just like that. You can see this is where the ground was, and it pulled all this roots out. All these roots out with really no effort on my end. You can see the nasty thorns this thing has. There's a good example right there. And they hurt. So let's do another one. And like I said, these things are all over the place. These buckthorn trees. So if I came through with here with a brush hog, it definitely would not kill the stump of the buckthorn tree. All it would do is promote extra growth next year. So really, like I said, the only way to do this is to pull up the root system, or you cut it off and hit it with an herbicide. So this one's probably, the size of my thumb thick. Ow, ow. So it's So I take my Pullerbear, open up the jaws, wrap it around the tree, make sure that the clamps grab onto that tree, which they did. I give it a couple bounces, and then I let the leverage of the bar pull up the roots. Just like that. And you can see, now if I cut it right here at the base, all these roots would have just shot up more roots, more tree bases. And like I said, I would have a bush instead of a tree. And it's not what I want. I want to get rid of these things. It's going to take me a while, but it is what it is. So this one's about 4.5 feet tall. The base is a little bit wider than my thumb and my fingers. So we're gonna grab onto it, give it a couple bounces. See, it got the whole root mass with really no effort at all. It's a great tool. So this was just a quick one on my Pullerbear and how I'm getting rid of my buckthorn. If you have any questions, any suggestions, any comments, any concerns, any suggestions for future videos, please let me know, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks.